Oh, hello, hello. I'm Louis Yanis, founder of WealthNet Investments. Hope you're having a great day. It's pretty late in the day and had a long day. Been doing a lot of trading today. Had a lot of, basically, we've been doing a lot of overhauling of our fixed income, the fixed income portion of the portfolios. So we have portfolios that are obviously in stocks and alternatives and fixed income. So the bond part of our portfolio, we're restructuring right now because there's so many changes in the interest rates and the economic environment. So we're definitely taking more of an active approach on the fixed income side, trying to earn a little bit higher yields and looking to mitigate risks of rising interest rates, inflation, things like that, and having a complementary diversification to the stock market. So that's been a big part of the day today. But today I want to talk a little bit about really some questions that I have found that are really changing people's life. So, questions they've said, there's a lot of stories out there that say that's, asking the right question can change somebody's life. I really do believe that's true because I've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in our practice. We've seen it happen in people's lives where they've gone from being in one current path and amazingly turning to another path that exponentially improves their situation. So I thought I'd share with you a little bit of a process that we've developed inside of our company. And this is something that has been developed by me and my team for years. And it's so simple, but I call this process the vision builder. And it's kind of one of the part of the first step of what we do when somebody talks to us about what they're trying to do with their investments and their finances. And the vision builder really starts off with just a bunch of questions, and they're really not uh, like they're not so specific of a question that you just say yes or no. They're kind of open ended. So I thought I would just share those questions with you to see if they can maybe help you. So the first question we ask people is for people to just briefly describe what is important about money to you. What is important about money to you? Now, that doesn't sound like a very brilliant question, but it actually is brilliant because I first heard about this question from, I believe his first name is Bill Bacharach, or something like that, who talks about when you ask the question about what is important about money to you, it's so open that people really start thinking about their values, and that's the whole thing. If you think about what's important about money to you, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Well, for a lot of people, it becomes the same thing. It becomes something like, um, I want to be financially free, or I want to not worry about money, or um, I want to retire, or something like that. And it starts that way. But then, if you drill down a little bit deeper, what you find is that what's important about money to you, if you say, why is that important? What is important about that? Why is blank important about money to you? Then it drills down to your values, your deeply held values, because that's the thing that I've learned is that it infiltrates every single aspect of your life. So that's really what we start off with is what is your value focus? I call that the value focus because what we're really trying to understand for each one of us, we need to understand for ourselves is what are our values with regard to our money? What do we want our money to really do for us? And that's really more values driven. So that's the first question. The second question is the question I call the envision question. And that's basically using your eyesight into the future. And I basically ask, imagine your situation 3 to 5 years from now. So let's start off with that. Imagine your situation 3 to 5 years from now. What would have to be true for you to be happy with your financial and personal progress 3 to 5 years from now? What would have to be true for you to be happy with your financial and personal progress 3 to 5 years from now? And ask yourself that question. If you ask yourself that question, you start thinking about what is my life going to be like in 3 to 5 years, and what do I want it to look like? For a lot of people, for some people, there is no vision for the future. And then there's almost like this vacuum that's created that says, well, there is no future in my mind, and maybe I need to have a future, because if I don't have a target that I'm shooting for, then gosh, what the heck is this all about? And uh, that envision question really kind of forward casts you into a different dimension that gives you a sense of imagination. So then I ask a follow-up question, or we ask a follow-up question in our process. We call this the envision part, is what are you doing now to accomplish this? Because there's usually a huge gap between what people want 3 to 5 years from now versus what they're doing right now. And it's kind of amazing. Some people have an alignment, but I would say well over half even haven't thought about what they want to be true for them to be happy with their personal and financial progress. And then once they have figured that out, they realize that they're not really doing anything right now that aligns with that. So one of the things, it's kind of more like general, like I'm generally saving, or I'm generally want to send my kids to college, or I generally want to retire. But you start thinking about what you want your life to be like. So one of the things I heard from Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, he talks about this concept of what will fascinate and motivate you for the rest of your life. And I believe that's a big part of this question, because your whatever fascinates and motivates you, and like you never get tired of, that really is what should drive what you do. So what fascinates and motivates you? And that should be part of that 3 to 5 year plan that you have. So I generally have a few boxes on there, but then after I've gone through kind of the envision phase, I like to talk about concerns, because everybody has obstacles. And some people just choose not to talk about the obstacles or think about the obstacles. Other people are overly focused on the obstacles so much so that they're frozen. So this process is really designed for you to look at the obstacles as being the raw materials to be your solution. So number 3 is, what are the biggest challenges that concern you now? What are the dangers that you see right now? And when people focus in on that just for a little bit of time, a lot of times it's a very clear thing that like there's a fear, there's something that people think like, this is a real obstacle for me. It might be something related to your time, it might be something related to your relationships or your money itself, like the resources that you have right now. But those concerns, those challenges uniquely turn into the material that you need in order to move forward. So after we've gone through the concerns, then it's about talking about the opportunity. What opportunities do you see for yourself? This is kind of like a SWOT analysis if you went to business school: strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, but it's not the same thing. What we're talking about are what opportunities that you see from your strengths right now that you can take and you could do more of. Because it's kind of a balancing act of like the obstacles that we need to kind of figure out, and the opportunities that we need to capitalize on. So what's funny about this is I was thinking about a client that for the first time saw this questionnaire and had this discussion with us, and this client was like, we're not ready for this. We need some time to think about that. And that actually could be the answer, that like you just really need time to think about it. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to work it out. But once you've got the opportunities, then the next thing we want to talk about is the priorities. So based on your answers from the things that we talked about before, right? Your values, your envision for the future, casting yourself ahead, and what's the obstacles or concerns, dangers, threats that you see, what opportunities that you see going forward. Then it's a matter of saying, what are my priorities? What are the top 3 things? And I like to bring it down into a small amount of things to think about, because if you list them all, sometimes you can go nuts. But if you take those top 3 things that first come into your mind, usually those are the ones that to focus in. on, and those can be prioritized. So we want to get those priorities, and then it's just kind of going through and putting it all together. Once you've looked at, step back and look at those questions. What insights can you get from that? What kind of decisions do you need to make? What kind of things do you think you need to really just decide on? And what kind of insights did you get from this questioning? And what kind of actions should you really take? What decisions do you need to think about, and what actions you need to take? So that's it. That's kind of the questions that I would be thinking about. I know this is kind of a strange thing for an investment guy to talk about, but the reason why I bring these up is because without this kind of thinking, inevitably, your financial plan will not be put in place in a way that is durable and sustainable for the long run. So I encourage you to ask yourself these questions. I actually have a form. I call it the Vision Builder. If you want a copy of this form, I'd be glad to send it to you. You could just go to wealthnetinvest.com, shoot an email to info@wealthnetinvest, or send a little message to us. We'll be glad to get it out to you. It's called the Vision Builder. Ask for the Vision Builder. Well, if you like any of this stuff, if you like what we're talking about, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Check out our website, and keep in touch. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.